Hey everyone, Erica Becker here, and welcome to another episode of the GC 360 podcast. We film the podcast right here in the Garden City, New York Media Studio, and on the podcast we talk about pretty much a huge range of topics, and we just like to really interview some of the most interesting people in Garden City. So today, this is a really special episode, and I'm really excited because I get to talk about one of my expertise with my friend, Greg Pursino. Greg is also, he's an actor, he's a filmmaker, writer, and director. So we have so much to talk about today, and I'm really excited. So Greg, thank you so much for taking the time to join me.
Thanks for letting me come here.
Yeah, and I'm glad, I haven't seen you in a while, so I'm glad I got to see you. It's a good excuse. But yeah, so how long, to start off, to tell the audience, how long have you been in the film industry?
Well, actually, I started in the middle 70s, but then things happened. I went out to California. I was in a couple of films out there, Semi-Tough with Burt Reynolds and Christopherson and things like that.
Awesome.
But then there was like family problems, so I came home, tried to straighten that out.
Sure.
Then needed to make money to go back. Then you meet somebody, your whole life changes, and
So you met your wife.
Yep. And then the kids come, so that's where the money goes.
Yeah.
You know, so just before I retired, I had a couple of cable shows.
Cool.
Yeah, one of them was called Crossfire Cinema. Me and my buddy were self-proclaimed movie critics. You know, and I'm an old white guy, he's a young black guy, and we used to go back and diss each other back and forth.
Oh, that's fun.
And everybody enjoyed it. They liked it. You know, we got some good comments about that.
So where was that, where did you guys produce that on?
In Lynbrook, Nassau County.
Okay.
Cablevision had, at the time, 3 studios. Lynbrook, Hauppauge, and Riverhead.
Okay.
So we did it in Lynbrook, but he was working 3 jobs.
Oh.
And eventually he couldn't do it no more. So we did it for 2 years, then I showed reruns.
Yeah.
So then after that, I said, well...
And when was this? In the 90s?
2009, I retired, so 2009, back about 4 years.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So that ended, and then I said, again, like you say, what's my interest, what I want to do? Films and whatnot. So I said, you know what? Long Island is very diversified. We have so many people here on Long Island.
It's true.
Who are talented, actors, crew members, and things like that. You don't have to go anywhere to get them. I said, so I started this other cable show called Independent Filmmakers, you know. So I had all the independent filmmakers coming on, Long Island filmmakers. So they came on, they talked about their films, we showed clips of their films.
Okay.
The do's and don'ts and the problems they had.
Yes.
Like even my little short, there was always problems that you had, things happen, you know.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Everybody thinks, oh, it's so easy, A, B, C, D. No, it don't work that way.
No.
It don't.
You have a shot list and a schedule, and like more often than not,
You go like
you're
this.
behind. Yep. Something has to change. We have to rearrange this. This doesn't make sense. This scene doesn't work anymore. There's always something. And that's kind of part of being in the business. I mean, I started in theater and kind of transitioned into film, but in both worlds, that's just part of the business. You kind of have to be, when you go to set or when you go to rehearsal or when you go to the stage, you just have to be like, anything can happen and I just have to be ready. And if you can't handle that, then that's...
I feel it's worse with the stage because you screw up, it's it.
That's true in theater. But you know what? That's kind of why I like it.
Oh, yeah?
Because it gives me like an adrenaline rush.
Okay.
That's why I started doing theater when I was like 10 years old. So I got used to it really young. So it wouldn't even faze me. I'd be like, all right, I would get excited about it. Like, what's going to happen tonight on stage? But maybe I'm kind of like a weird kid. Did I ever, you know what? I did not have a big problem with, I was still am very good at memorizing lines. I hardly ever had an issue with that. Always my biggest, if anything would happen, it was usually if something like technically went wrong, like a cue, or someone else missed their cue, and you have to cover.
And you're waiting for them.
You got to cover. Yeah, I learned how to cover a lot, especially when you do it when you're young. Like people aren't it's not as professional, you know. I mean, I treated it
but
super
still,
professionally because I loved it.
Right.
But
That's what it is. Like when I was in high school, all right, one of my English classes I didn't have to take, so I took a drama class. So we put on, that was the only play I was ever in, though.
Oh, okay.
And
it was in high school.
Yeah, in high school.
Cool.
So what was that, 17, whatever the hell it was? And The play was Raisin in the Sun.
Oh, wow.
Right?
That's a good play.
An all-black cast.
Yeah.
And I played Sidney Poitier's part.
No.
So when I came on the stage, everybody was laughing and whatnot,
That's terrible.
Why is that terrible?
They didn't have any
Well,
black
I don't know.
students to play it?
My drama teacher wanted me to do it.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
It was fun though, because I even cracked up on stage when people were laughing and stuff because they knew right away.
But that play is like not a comedy.
The movie,
Oh, the movie is like
I enjoyed it. It's one of my favorites.
no, it's a classic. It's amazing. But okay, so you did theater in high school once, and then that was you kind of just sort of like went into.
Well, there was no really opportunity, I went to in the '70s, so I went to H.B. Berghoff for a while, for acting lessons, and my instructor was Jesse Osuna. And from my understanding, a couple of years ago, he was still there teaching for all these years.
Wow.
He was in Tootsie and some other films and things like that. Yeah, he was around for a while. But I enjoyed his class. Yeah, he had about 25, 30 students in the class.
Yeah.
See, that's what you got to get out of your system. All right?
What?
Well, you did it when you were young. Performing in front of people that you don't know.
Yeah.
All right? Like when I was teaching these kids in my little acting class that I have for them, they were nervous, this and that stuff. I said, there's only like 4 or 5 of us here. I said, when you take another acting class from a professional school, you got 25, 30 people in there.
Yeah.
You got to forget about them.
Yeah.
So I gave them an example. I was in a story. I belonged to this group one time years ago. So the girl worked something out. We were going to get headshots for only $100.
Nice.
So I went there. But it was this big restaurant. And from the street, the doors open up. The whole side of the building opens up. Big restaurant, nice. Then you go into the back. There's all picnic tables. There's a bar in the front, a bar in the back, this and that. So we're taking pictures and stuff. And there's people just coming in having their meals and stuff, right? Photographer, a friend of his came down, okay? And after the shoot, he says to me, can I talk to you? I said, yeah, what's up? He goes, how could you do that? I said, what are you talking about? All these people are here, and you're doing this here, with the headshots and stuff, right? I said, they're not there.
You got to get used to
said,
that.
They're not there. He goes, what do you mean? I'm focused what I'm doing. They're not there.
Yeah.
I said, why? He goes, because Lou Gossett was getting in the studio for Jet Magazine to do the cover. And he's an actor. And he was in Raisin in the Sun, too, in the movie and on stage. They couldn't work with him. He was dripping sweat. He was a nervous wreck.
Oh, no.
They told him to pose this and that stuff. I said, you know why? I said, he had no lines. You're trying to tell him to do this and that. He would have been more comfortable with the dialogue.
With something to say.
Right,
yeah, totally.
Yeah, so there's somebody with a lot of experience, but then goes to a photographer to get pictures done. He couldn't handle it.
Yeah, wow. Well, we're going to get back into some more of this. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll see you right after these messages.
My father never stops moving. But after he had a brain aneurysm, he had a difficult time getting back to his normal routine. That's when I called Alliance Services. They paired him with Rosa. She developed a custom home care plan that helped him with his recovery.
Rosa helped me gain my independence back.
Alliance Services, helping older adults continue to live well and independent.
Hey everyone, welcome back to this episode of the GC 360 podcast. For those of you just joining us, I'm here with Greg Pursino. He's an actor and a filmmaker, a director and a writer. We were just telling some stories about acting, but what I want to get into is talking more about actually the craft a little bit and how you got into also instructing, because you coach acting.
Yes,
we
for a
both
little while,
have,
right.
yeah.
Well, again, it's something I like, something I wanted to do and whatnot. Now, with the Cablevision, the 2 shows that I had, how I got into that was a girl that I worked with. She invited me on her show, like you're inviting me to this show.
Yeah.
Then she asked me to be part of the crew, so I did that. Now, for a couple of years, I'm doing the directing. I'm working in the control room. I'm doing the cameras, this and that stuff. Then I said to myself, I want my own show.
Yeah.
What do I like? Movies. So we started Crossfire Cinema.
Yeah.
I told my friend I worked with. Now, what happened with that was, I got off at 11:30 at night. He came in at 11 o'clock. So we used to share films, right? So he was always complaining of the films that I gave him to watch, right? So he comes to me, I don't want no more of your films. I said, what's the problem, man? And he goes, Westerns. You're always giving me Westerns,
So
man.
you like Westerns.
Right? That I do, right? And he's carrying on. I said, in your big collection that you tell me you have no Westerns. He goes, no, I don't have no Westerns. I said, do you have Posse? He goes, yeah. I said, well, that's a Western. And then everybody else used to laugh at us, and so I decided to put it on the show together.
But like, how did you when did you start coaching acting? Like, did you take class too? How did you get into that?
Well, I took classes. I went to H.B. Berghoff.
Okay.
When I was in California.
Nice.
I went to the Theater of Arts for Madame Oleska, owned it. Mm-hmm. Then I came back to private lessons with Regina. I forgot her last name, sorry. And then Tony LoBianca, an actor, was giving classes. I took classes with him, and we became good friends. We still communicate with each other and stuff. He was in the French Connection years ago in the 70s, and the 7-Ups. He was in, matter of fact, he was very popular in the 70s in TV shows.
Okay.
And he was directing and stuff. So when I give him, I went to go for his classes, and at the end, I went to his apartment in Central Park West over there. And he says, you made a film, right? I said, yeah, it was a short for the festival. He goes, well, I want to see it. I said, okay, next time for the class, I'll bring it in. He goes, no, mail it to me, I want to see it. I said, okay. So I sent it to him and whatnot. So the next time we had class, he's going around talking to everybody. Well, then he comes over to me. He said, I saw the film, I really liked it, this and that. And I said, well, did you critique it? He goes, there was no reason. I said, really? I said, what'd you think of the concept? He goes, I loved it. He says, me and my wife were watching old movies, and the first thing I thought about was your movie, The Projectionist.
What was the concept of the film?
All right, it was called The Projectionist, and this movie Projectionist is shown films for like 25 years in a movie house, okay? Basically, he's a frustrated actor.
Oh.
So when he sees all these new people coming about, it starts off, he's reading a magazine. These guys ain't actors, not like Spencer Tracy and all those guys, He says, I could have been an actor. I could have been somebody. So when he's showing the films, he looks out into the audience and he sees himself in classic films. So I recreated 4 classic films.
Very cool. Which films did you recreate?
North by Northwest. You know that one?
That's one of my favorite movies.
That's what the plane dives down.
That's one of my top 10 favorite movies.
I did that one, and then On the Waterfront when they're in the cab. And Midnight Cowboy. Did you see that one?
I
when they're crossing the street. And they did that one in Manhattan.
Cool.
And then Casablanca. You gotta know about Casablanca when she leaves.
Classic,
right?
yeah.
So I recreated those things.
That's really a cool idea.
Yeah. So, again, these things just pop in your head.
Yeah.
I want to do something, I'm going to do it. And what happened too, I was always going to the film festivals, and I said, these guys, I can do this.
Yeah.
So that's what I did,
Was it a feature, like a full length?
No, it was like 16 minutes of short.
Cool.
That short cost me $6,000 out of my own pocket.
Yeah.
I don't ask anybody for money.
Not cheap to
That's
make.
like if I said,
even a low budget is not.
Well, the reason I do it that way, so you couldn't do a full feature unless you have the money.
Oh yeah.
And for a short, let's say you want to lend me give me $1,000 to my film. Greg, let me help you out. I'll give you $1,000. Next week you call me. Oh, I got a cousin. Can they be in it? I got this one. Or my niece.
They want a favor.
Yeah. So I said, you know what? Forget it.
Yeah.
I did it my
well,
own.
that's really cool that you put that together yourself. What do you think? So we're both going to be teaching, bringing our acting expertise to the Garden City New York Media Studio. We're going to be teaching acting classes. I have experience, a lot of experience, especially in theater camps, working with kids and directing young people. And I know you've worked with some maybe more older, teenagers, young adults, all ages.
All ages.
So that's really cool. I'm excited about that. So what's something that people can expect from you as their acting instructor?
Well, the class, I was thinking about the age, first of all, teenagers from 14, maybe, I was going to say 17 because 18 is, you're an adult already, but you know what? You'll need an older person in the crowd to work with these kids. So from 14 to 18, that's the group I'm looking for. And if they have a bug for acting, you know what I mean? Because sometimes they have a bug, they don't want to tell their friends make fun of them and all this other
Or they
crap.
might not know they have the bug till they do it. That's what happened to me.
Right.
I had no idea. And I was in dance class as a young girl, and my mom saw this audition posting for a musical. It was The Music Man. It was like a local county show. All the high schools come together and do a show in the summer. And she said, they need dancers, kid dancers. So she thought that'd be a fun summer activity for me to do. So I auditioned, had never sang, had never acted, just done dance. I went and auditioned, and I got the lead part, and then it was like I was bitten. And I had no idea that I was gonna be like in love with it like that until I did it, you know?
Right.
So I think these people, if you have even a slight, tiny interest, do a class.
Well, you said there was a tiny little bug. One of the guys in my film that worked at the post office, we used to work in the public affairs office, and we were doing commercials for the post office. And so I said, Dino, you want you to be in my film, why don't you be the bartender and this and that stuff.
Yeah.
He looked like the old George Raft gangster when he comes in with his black shirt and his tie, and he's the bartender, he has white, grayish hair and whatnot. He was really good with his scene. 2 days later, after he came to the festival and saw it, he called me, hey, Greg, I'm thinking of taking acting lessons.
Yeah, of course you are.
So I told him, are you doing that? He goes, no. I said, come on, man, do it. You know? And whatnot.
Well, and I think that acting lessons benefit people in so many more ways.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you don't want to like go have a career in acting, especially for young people, I think that it benefits. There's so many good things that you get out of it. I mean, for what, like you said earlier, it's just the fact of speaking in front of people.
Well,
we all are going to have to do that at some point, right?
One of the kids in my class, he was like very shy and stuff like that. And I was working with him and came out, and he was nervous in front of just like a half a dozen of us, whatever it was, you know. Finally, he was getting better and better at it. But then when he went into this high school, he's got so much work and stuff. But his mother texted me, he says, thank you very much for working with Matthew, you know, Greg's, Uncle Greg, anyway, because he came out of his shell. He's like a different person.
Yeah,
you know?
I've experienced that too.
He's my nephew's son.
Yeah.
But you go to a family function, he's standing in the corner, he's not talking to anybody until you do it. Now he opened up and he's doing a lot better.
See, that's amazing.
Yeah,
like, that's super helpful. I've experienced that happening too with a show I directed. I had 2 kids who, similar story. And that's what makes it fulfilling for me to be an instructor, is when you see that transformation.
Because what you're doing is like, it's creative, number one, and like being a painter or a sculptor or something like that, you're working with them, you're molding your students, you know? That's like the kid I was just telling you about. We were doing it in the library, and the mother who plays, the woman who plays the grandmother, they were trying to do a scene, and I wasn't getting that facial expression. I said, Matt, when your grandmother tells you to do something, you really don't want to do it. You have an attitude. This, that. It wasn't working. We did like 3 takes. I said, listen, do me a favor. He goes, what? I says, when grandma tells you what to do, think that it's your father telling you what to do. And
emotional recall.
And
that's
all of a sudden, boom, I got what I wanted out of the guy.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you got to do.
Those
so that's
techniques,
part of what I got to teach him too. You know.
Yeah, those specific techniques that we learn when we like we've both studied it, taken different classes. So yeah, that's one of those great techniques. And some of my favorite techniques too are the memorization techniques, because when I learned how to memorize lines really well, it helped me in school to memorize stuff so much better. So that's another good. I know a lot of people.
How was your technique
for memorization?
What'd you do?
So it kind of depends on exactly what's going on, but an example I like to give is when I was in high school, my senior year, we did Alice in Wonderland. Crazy idea, because that play is very long, and it's Alice is in every single scene. I was Alice. She's in every single scene, and there's like 30 scenes, right? And so every other line is hers. So I basically had to know the entire play front to back. And the way I memorized that show was every night before bed, I planned it out so that I would have everything memorized, I think 3 weeks before the show. I can't remember exactly how much time I had or how many pages it was, but I was like, I have to memorize X pages before I can go to sleep. And I would just read. And some of those lines are a little out there and they don't really make a lot of sense. So you have to give yourself a meaning to the lines. So that, to me, once I learned, I have to make this mean something to me, then you remember it. And then I was able to memorize stuff just super quick because I would do it on the spot. So when I was in college, somebody was sick for a show I was in, and I was a freshman, so I was just in the chorus, and it was like the lead part. She got sick. I was the only other female in the cast. I wasn't her understudy. We didn't do understudies, but they were like, she got sick. It was like the 3rd night of the show, and it was like a 3-week run or something. And they were like, tonight we have to have you go on for her. We can't cancel the show. You can bring the script on stage. And I was like, I am not bringing a script on stage.
Yeah.
I memorized her scenes. She was only in 2 scenes, so it wasn't like I memorized a huge. It was Waiting for Lefty. I don't know if you know the play.
No.
The girls, she's only in 2.
Allison.
It's mostly males in that show, so the females are very dispersed. But I memorized her scenes that afternoon, and went on without a script. And I knew how to do that because I was like, just give everything you say a meaning to you personally, even if you have to. And that's the technique that works the best for me.
I do a little bit much different.
Yeah,
I'll give you an example because I was doing this commercial, a Jiffy Mop commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I went down. I was in Carl Place somewhere. I went into the office and that stuff. They had 2 sheets of paper. Here you go. Here's your dialogue. I said, okay, you got 15 minutes. I said, what?
Yeah.
15 minutes, right?
Happens.
I'm gonna read this line. Second line, go back to the first line, second line, go back again, then I moved the next one. I kept doing it all the way down.
That's how I did for Alice.
Well, listen to this. So I had to do the guy who was with me, his name was Kurt May. He was in a lot of soap operas years ago, okay? They flew him in from California. Now, when we were doing it, I played the janitor, okay? We did it. I got all my stuff straight. He flubbed.
Oh.
Now he got his right. And I
flubbed.
Then
you flubbed. Isn't that always how it goes?
but I'm saying, 15 minutes to read it and get over there and do it.
Yeah, that's quick.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and there's, like you said, there's different techniques and different things work for different people. Just like I think, different actors have techniques that they prefer. Like I've learned different methods, Stella Adler, Stanislavski, da-da-da. But everyone figures out by doing which one
But all those
is
people
better
you
for
mentioned, what was it? Stanislavski, what's his name again?
Konstantin Stanislavski, yeah.
He's like the originator.
He is.
And everybody else took his method
from him.
and they make their own.
Yeah.
That's what I told the kids. So you don't have to
That's
worry.
what you got to do, yeah.
Right. So I also told them when I'm doing my films and stuff, if you mess up, don't worry about it. Well, if you feel uncomfortable with a word, it doesn't flow out of your mouth the right way for you, we'll change it.
Yeah.
And make it comfortable for you so it just flows.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be all nervous and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah, totally.
I tell everybody right away, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We just do it over. It's no big deal.
Totally.
Now they calm down a little bit, or some word that they couldn't. There's words I can't pronounce too good, like Stanislavski.
Yeah, Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah. But I read a lot on them and Stella and all these other ones.
Yeah.
And what's the old guy's name? I forgot his name again too.
There's Boleslavsky is one.
But the one he had a 2-year program in Manhattan.
Oh.
I can't think of his name.
But he's not. I'm talking about the classic ones, and you're right.
What I'm saying is they took his method.
Yeah, you're right. That's why I always start with Stanislavski as a base because he has those 7 pillars, and like you said,
Lee Strasberg. That's the
Lee Strasberg. Yeah. Oh yeah, I read his book too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
I agree with you. The book that I'll
be
using for the class is by Michael Caine.
Oh, I think I have that.
Yeah, Acting for Film.
Yeah, I have that book.
Yeah.
I like that book.
Is that my book? Because I lost it. I don't know where it is.
No.
I did. I wanted to bring it today. I couldn't find it.
You can.
But that's what I was teaching the kids out of that
That's
book.
A good book.
Yeah.
For filmmaking, because it's a little bit different technique, theater and film.
Right. I'm not doing theater. I'm doing film.
Yeah.
And I had the kids doing commercials.
Yeah.
I said, what do you like? What's your best food product you like? This and that stuff. Bring the object in and talk about it. You know, and this and that stuff. And they were doing it. They were selling the cereal or...
That's great.
Yeah, one was a drink.
Yeah.
I've never heard of before, but that's what they like. I don't know.
Well, it's good that you have the experience with commercial coaching too and film coaching. I'm really excited about our Long Island acting program. And I want to throw this out there for anyone listening too. We're going to be doing a 1-day intensive on February 11th here at the studio. It's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the information will be on the website, longislandacting.com. If you visit that website, you'll see Greg's classes that he's going to have, my classes I'm going to have. But this 1-day intensive is going to be a really great way to, especially if you're new, to kind of get a taste of what a longer program would be like with one of us or one-on-one coaching. And we'll introduce, a few different kind of things. And scene studies, I think scene studies is one of the most important things, and it'll be improv games, really, really fun.
Improv. I did some improv with it.
Improv is important.
Oh, it is.
Super important. But improv games are really fun. So it's going to be a great class. So if you want that information, definitely go to longislandacting.com. Both of our stuff is on there, like I said. Greg, is there anything else that you want to talk about with your
No, like I
course,
said, matter of fact, we did a lot of it. You know, I put down, well, here's another problem that people have, the timing, the length of time before you say something.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell somebody who's doing a scene, you don't have to rush right into the scene because I said acting, action. You don't have to do that.
Right.
Take your time.
Be a person.
Right. I read a thing once with Kirk Douglas, who had a paper rolled up, and it's a newspaper. And they would say action, and then he'd tap himself with the newspaper and this and that. And get rid of the
Everyone's
newspaper,
got their
and
technique.
go right into it.
Yep.
Because it's sometimes, as far as like the editors will know, if you jump into it too fast, you don't give them enough time to edit also.
Also, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why film,
so if I say action,
blah, blah, blah,
blah, they go into it, whoa, slow down. Man,
Yeah.
You know? So all these things you'll learn.
You'll learn it by being in class and being on set.
Oh, not only that, you and I know people that, the filmmakers and stuff, where we can maybe bring them down to a set being filmed.
Oh,
definitely.
tons. Yeah,
and plus,
absolutely.
I'll be teaching them some.
And give people opportunities to audition for things.
Oh, yeah,
I know,
yeah.
commercials and stuff. Yeah, for sure. So I'm really excited about all of that. It's going to be great moving forward. To our audience, thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode of the GC360 podcast. Hope you enjoyed hearing all of this information. And one more time, longislandacting.com is where you can find out more info about our classes and our information. And this episode was sponsored by Alliance Services. And thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next time. Season's greetings, everyone. Erica Becker here, your host at Garden City, New York Media. I am very excited to announce that I'll be providing acting classes for young people in Garden City in 2023. To stay updated and for more information, visit our website at longislandacting.com. Thanks so much and happy holidays.